going around is a sign-up sheet because you're here today, and also a sheet to sign up for your lunch on our retreat. The retreat is not going to be this Saturday, but the next Saturday. It's going to be right in this room, so you should have that on your calendar, okay? And we will be having coffee, and we will be having lunch, and then an afternoon snack. And we're going to get lunch in the form of sandwiches from Subway, and apples, and a cookie even. And no chips. I had to draw the line there. You can have your little treat of chips sometime else.
This Subway has soup, because I don't eat bread.
Oh, okay. Write that down, please, on there. We maybe could get the protein that you would like, the turkey, or and you could remove the bread. We were going to get a sandwich platter, so thin. I don't know. Somebody does have soup, but I don't know what kind. You'd like soup, is what you're saying.
I don't eat bread, so I can't eat the sandwich. That's all right. I will eat all this straight stuff.
No, you should eat. You have to eat.
Eat a salad, then a salad.
But I can't.
Well, you can't eat salad either. Put down something that you can eat, and we'll see if we can get it. Is there a certain kind of soup that you can't eat? Write that down, okay? That's just a sign-in for today. There's another sheet going around for lunch. Okay. Do you have any comments? Yes. We understand not everybody can come, some can come later, earlier, so just do your best to come. We'd love to have you. I have lots of games. I'll give you the agenda next week. It's almost all games. So it's meant to kind of just be a later time together and kind of a review of what we've done and some new topics too. It's on your calendar. Yeah. I think it's 9:30 to 4:30, but that changes from session to session, and I don't have the same calendar you have with me. So I think it's 9:30 to 4:30, but check the time on there. Does anybody have any comments from homework last time? You want to open your workbook and look at that page? I think the new thing was, so it would be week 4 homework. And the new thing was writing fruit, vegetable, grain, some kind of food group letter beside what you ate. Did anybody learn anything by doing that? Were you able to do that? Or any other comments on recording what you ate? Or
I didn't exactly record.
okay.
However, whenever I was eating, I was thinking, I should record this,
Okay.
and I shouldn't really be eating this.
Okay.
So my awareness is being
Yeah.
tweaked.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you think of one thing that changed as a result of that? Was there any improvement in your choices as a result of that?
I don't believe there were,
Okay.
but I was aware.
Okay. All right. The point, obviously, long-term is to improve what you eat. But you start somewhere, right? You start with being more aware. Well, how about activity? Excuse me. Activity.
Well, I do know more walking, and I also joined the Silver Sneakers Alliance meeting, so I moved there a couple of days.
Very nice. Anybody else in silver sneakers? A lot of people in my group, our groups love it. Great. I'm writing down the Colonel water picture because I know I said it would be, but somebody brought their own water. Wonderful. Let's see. Keep circling, putting squares around what you eat. Circles are improvements that you've made. Squares are things maybe you'd like to improve in the future. A little letter for food groups. Did anybody eat more fruits and vegetables, do you think?
I had travel. So we were away in the car pretty much for 2 days, and then at a funeral with with a funeral lunch.
Yes.
So there was, what do I want to say about that? What did you just say? Oh, we took fruit in the car.
Uh-huh.
We took fruit and a couple of cheese cubes, and so consciously made that decision not to stop at
Uh-huh.
McDonald's on the way down. So I'd say this has improved my mentality into that planning ahead part, that planning ahead part.
Uh-huh.
When we ate out, I did have a question about choosing more vegetables, but they look kind of like, can there be any nutrition left in them after they've been heated, reheated, dressed up?
Yeah, it varies, right? We would only know if we should do a lab
Should
analysis
just stick
on it.
to raw vegetables. Or
Many cooked vegetables actually are more easily absorbed than raw vegetables, but it varies a lot. For example, carrots are great to eat raw. You get a lot of good out of carrots, but when you cook them, you have a little bit more access to the vitamin A. So, excuse me, something's going on with my throat today. The vitamin A carotenoids or keratin is better absorbed in the gut when the carrot is cooked.
so even a stir
So I'm
fry.
not in favor of all raw food vegetables. But raw vegetables are great. I mean, all raw food diets.
So stir fries maybe would be the way to go to avoid overcooking and destroying a lot of the nutrients down to
How else can you cook things to avoid destroying nutrients? You could stir fry with a little oil, steam them. So if you boil them in a lot of water, you're leaching out a lot of vitamins and nutrients. Yep. So preparation counts. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you that I saw a study that may appeal to some of us secretly.
You saw what?
I saw a study
Oh, saw stuff.
in the news in Japan that looked at salt, how much salt people are eating who are 65 and older. Now in Japan they eat a lot of sodium, right? Soy sauce and they have a taste for a lot of salt. The people that they asked to eat less sodium got up at night and peed less often than the people who kept eating what they were used to. So it's the first study that's of a certain size, and that people are now saying that may be important advice for older people who have to get up a lot and pee at night. Of course, there's prostate issues and other reasons, and medications and other reasons, but something to try. Lower salt. Most of us think less fluid, but I don't think many of us have thought less salt to help with that. Okay. Who has heard of cytokines? Cytokines. Oh, there's a big one. Cytokines. Nobody yet? That's okay. Who has heard of interleukin? 6. I love that one. It sounds so. You've heard of it.
I've heard of it too.
You've heard of it? Who has heard of serum amyloid A? Ah, okay. What are they?
It has something to do with the cardiac function of the heart.
The amyloid.
Immune system.
These are markers of inflammation. These are little proteins. It has to do with the heart, and they have to do with a lot in the body, but they're also markers of inflammation. So, who has heard of this? There's a sheet going around asking what kind of sandwich you would like for our retreat. Yeah. Here's allyl sulfides. That is something that's in onions, leeks, and garlic, and it helps reduce the damage to cells that's done by exposure to oxygen. Okay?
It's done by.
Exposure to oxygen. Have you heard of oxidation? Yeah. It reduces what's called oxidative stress. Does that mean you should eat 12 onions a day? No, not really. But when you eat onions, you get some of that. Here are some other things. I mentioned carotenoids in carrots. Carotenoids also act as antioxidants. They help reduce inflammation and the damage to your cells. Where are they found? What did I mention? Carrots. They're also found in orange and yellow fruits and other, like butternut squash. Carotenoid tends to add the yellow color. Who has heard that it's good to eat lots of colors of fruits and vegetables? This is why. Okay. This is an example, and I'm going to give you some more, of phytochemicals. Whoa, we're out of space. Phyto means what? Plant. Plant. Some of us are kind of weary of chemicals, but all nutrients are chemicals. Our body is all chemicals, really. So, phytochemicals are things in plants that do what for the plants? They have to do with color and flavor.
Protect them from herbivory.
And smell to protect them from herbivory. That's a great word. So, somebody's coming after this plant to eat it. Including us, I guess. But, so phytochemicals also help protect, so from prey, but from disease. So when people eat plants, they're getting phytochemicals that we now know also help protect us from disease and big monsters that are coming after us. So, if you eat plants of lots of colors and a wide variety of plants, onions have important phytochemicals and they're white, so it's not just the colors, but a wide variety of colored vegetables, you are getting some protection against inflammation. Okay, and also immune protection. Someone mentioned it has to do with your immune system. So it helps you not get sick as often and fight problems in your body with disease or illness. Who's heard of polyphenols? These all have funny words. Some groups, I write them all down, and I say, what the heck are these? And people say, additives. No, they sound like additives. Polyphenols or flavonoids. They are phytochemicals. Some phytochemicals are vitamins. Excuse me. Flavonoids are not vitamins. But some phytochemicals, you would call a vitamin a phytochemical. I'm going to find a cup and get myself water because otherwise I'm going to be clearing my throat. Okay. What's a popular, maybe in the news, you've heard of this? What's a food that has flavonoids in it? What about an individual food that's gone wild on the internet? Pomegranates. Pomegranates have resveratrol in them, which is a polyphenol. How about dark chocolate? Right? Hear nothing else sometimes. Dark chocolate. Yay! People say if you just eat an ounce of dark chocolate, it's healthy for you. You don't want to eat a lot because it's fat, it has fat, and calories in it, right? But it has flavonoids, okay? And we mentioned red wine before, and grapes. Okay, how about tea? Green tea, right? Black tea, all kind of white tea. Tea has flavonoids in it, polyphenols.
How about,
Uh-huh.
how about freshly brewed coffee? There's something in freshly brewed coffee that dissipates over time, but something that's beneficial. Could it be a flavonoid?
Coffee has, what is it called? I don't think I brought my notes on coffee, but I have them. Coffee, okay, here's the advice on coffee, all right? Coffee does have phytochemicals in it that are good for you, but if you drink too much coffee, it's not good for you. So the latest advice is to limit coffee to 4 8-ounce cups a day. Do you have to drink coffee to get phytochemicals? No. But if you drink coffee and you're wondering how much is too much and so on, that's the limit. That is the latest. Limit caffeine if you're prone to what? Heart disease, high blood pressure, chronic headaches, acid reflux, anxiety, and sleep problems. But we used to think, in general, that coffee and caffeine was bad for the heart. Now we think it may have some benefits for the heart for some people, but you can get those benefits eating and drinking healthy foods and beverages. Does that help? I'm not sure what exactly the flavonoid is right now, but you can find it, yeah. How about turmeric? Has anybody heard of turmeric? Turmeric has, turmeric everywhere, turmeric tea. Turmeric has something in it called curcumin. It's a phytochemical. Do you have to know all these individual foods? Should you eat tons of turmeric? Maybe if your doctor said, I want you drinking something that has, or eating something that has turmeric in it every day.
As long as you don't want your teeth to turn yellow.
Well, it can make your fingers yellow too. So can eating too many carrots. Have you ever seen that? Eating too many carrots or yellow vegetables, orange vegetables, makes your skin turn yellow. I had a kind of a adventuresome roommate in college who loved nutrition, and she ate, I don't know, 12 carrots every day or something. She had wacky ideas about nutrition, but she turned yellow. This sort of lycopene, good for your eyes, right? Lycopene is advertised in some supplement bottles and so on. What's it in?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Lysine?
They sell over the counter for your eyes.
Are you talking about leucine? Might be, yeah, lysine's an amino acid. That's okay. I can hardly keep track. It's amazing. There's millions of these weird names, right? It's all, yeah. Leucine is good for your eyes. Lysine is an amino acid, building block of protein. Watermelon has lycopene in it. It's not just tomatoes. Red things. Could we go on and on? How about broccoli? Broccoli is great for you. You don't need, quarts of it. But it has sulforaphane. I was going to write all these on, but they're hard to spell. Sulforaphane, and you don't need to write them down. How about soy? It has isoflavones, phytochemicals that help regulate your hormones. And so there's studies about soy and menopause, going through hot flashes, breast cancer. There's a lot of studies looking at the estrogen-like isoflavones in soy. Okay? How about hot peppers? Yeah. Anybody heard what's in them? Susan, you use a lot.
Capsaicin.
Yeah, capsaicin. Capsaicin. It protects the DNA from carcinogens, so it helps the cell instructions about how to live and protect itself. Carcinogens come in and they mess that up. There's something called saponins that are in dry beans and split peas and so on. What does this tell you? All this stuff. What's the bottom line? Phytochemicals everywhere. Did you say eat a variety of food? Phytochemicals are not everywhere, they're in
All the plants.
all the plants. Have you heard of plant-based diet? So even the government, who's very conservative, right, really wants lots of evidence, now says eat lots of plants. Lots of plants. Where do you get protein? From plants. If you're going to eat less meat and more, you can still eat meat, but if you're eating less meat and more plants, where do you get protein? Legumes, right, and nuts and seeds. Yep. And soy, which is a legume. Yeah. Black beans, there's tons of kinds of beans. Indoles are in cabbages. They stimulate the enzymes that make estrogen less effective. I'm going to quiz you on all this. Be on a retreat. Yeah. They might appear in the Jeopardy game, one of them. We're having Jeopardy. All right. I talked about alcohol before, right? We've got the resveratrol, one of these phytochemicals, one of these from what? That's in there. From the grapes that make the red wine. What are the reasons not to drink alcohol? Especially when you're 65 or older. Damages your liver if you overdo it, right?
I'd say it's not a dense calorie, it's like an empty calorie.
It's an empty calorie, right? A lot of people who are older and a lot of people who are younger need to watch their weight. You don't want a lot of calories that you're not getting any good things from. What else? It is dehydrating, but drink a lot of water if you're drinking. But even moderate drinking for older people is not a good idea because of car accidents, right? We lose our balance and judgment of space naturally as we age. Some of us lose our minds naturally. What? Yeah, falling down. It's a big source of falls. It's drinking, even moderately, right? You don't balance as well. Okay. Makes you more likely to get diabetes, makes you more likely to get high blood pressure, cancer. You don't sleep as well. Who knows about sleep and alcohol?
Sleep a couple hours and then you're wide awake.
That's it, right? It may make you drowsy and you think, oh, if I have a glass of wine before bed, it helps me sleep. But actually it will get you drowsy, but then it interrupts your sleep during the night. So it's not a good thing to drink right before bed. Okay. Or in general, a lot of older people have a lot of trouble. All right, just wanted to give you that word if you hadn't heard about it. The big thing about phytochemicals is fighting against heart disease, diabetes, cancer, these big diseases that we're more at risk of as we get older. So eat lots of vegetables. Who's good at eating vegetables and can tell us how they do it?
Vegetarians.
Well, vegetarians, but in here, who's gotten better at eating more vegetables over time, or?
I have a daughter who's a vegetarian, so in cooking for them,
Yeah.
I've just discovered herbs and spices and lovely ways to put things together. Usually based on eggplant.
A lot of eggplant.
A lot of eggplant. And grains, other grains, triticale, and
Which are plants. These phytochemicals are in
buckwheat.
especially whole grains.
There's a variety of grains.
Yep, you can get a wide variety.
And old ethnic recipes.
Ethnic recipes.
Where you just eliminate the meat.
Yep. Or we say just have a little bit as a condiment. So you cut back on the meat that you're eating and replace it with vegetables. You can do that in a lot of recipes. Yep. Okay? See how many vegetables you can eat next week. About 2 cups a day, 2.5 cups a day is what's recommended. It's a lot for some people, right? Maybe we have like, so that usually means some at lunch, a cup at lunch, 1.5 cups at dinner, or if you like your lunch bigger, you can get a container. This has helped a lot of people I've worked with. You get a container that has 2 cups in it, and you fill it with vegetables, and when it's, you try to eat that in a day. When it's done, you fill it back up. Think, am I eating this much in a day? So if it's lettuce, that's really not your 2.5 cups. But if it's sliced carrots, things sliced for a stir fry, you have some as raw vegetables with lunch, and have the rest at dinner. That helps some people. Kind of think of it as just a unit that you have to get every day. I mean, you don't have to, but you want to for your health. So there's a lot of other tricks, but I'm trying to watch my time here. Okay. Do we know how many phytochemicals we need? Can I tell you what phytochemicals to get in a supplement? A lot of this, well, it's better not to get them in supplements. It's better to get them in. But even if I knew, turmeric or turmeric eater, it's turning your teeth yellow, I could give you the phytochemical in a supplement. Here's how much you need. We don't know that because a lot of the studies that are done in little glass containers in labs with cells. They add these phytochemicals from this one food or somehow get it from a food, and they watch what it does to the cells. Okay? Another problem in terms of prescribing phytochemicals is we don't know how much people need. We don't know which one exactly they need, and we don't know how they combine. So it's different in a salad. All those phytochemicals in that salad may be combining in really helpful ways. Or even with one vegetable that has 5 phytochemicals in it. We don't know. So this is a very young science, really. We can't tell. I can tell you about how much vitamin A I would recommend as a woman with an age of X and a diet of X, but I can't tell you how much allyl sulfide you need. So that's why we just say lots and lots of vegetables and fruit and whole grains. Okay. Any questions about phytochemicals? Here's one. Cinnamaldehyde. Who can guess what that's in? Cinnamon! Right? Everybody likes cinnamon. Put cinnamon on almost anything, I think, and if you don't overdo it, it's kind of good. Cinnamaldehyde. Okay. What are the foods that increase inflammation in the American diet? Well, we don't know that, no? Not dairy products. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There really is. Not that I'm God's gift to information, but I do know about this.
Is this what's on the internet when it says 5 foods you should never eat?
Yeah, or superfoods, right? You can just ignore all that stuff. It's probably, if it's that dramatic, it's probably, be careful.
Salty food.
Salt. I'm going to put sodium. Excess sodium is not good for inflammation. What else? Sugar.
Everything you love.
Excess, right? What else? What are we not going to have for lunch when we have a retreat? What did I have to tell people? We're going to have a little added sugar in the cookie because I wanted to give you a treat. Not every day, but it's a little treat. But what are we not going to have in the sandwiches?
Dressings.
No,
Onions.
you can have dressing on the side, you can add your dressing. Well, I wrote down on there, I think we're not gonna have onions, because some people won't eat them. I just, we have to make a platter. But what else? In the sandwich is a source of protein.
Or bologna?
Bologna.
Oh,
So we're not gonna have bologna, sausage, right?
Mushrooms, nitrates.
All kind of, they're not good, etc. Not at that bologna ends with an A. I always feel very smart when I write it. Bologna. Okay, how about high-fat dairy? No, it's not dairy, it's high-fat dairy. Okay? And one more I want to say is saturated fat. Now we're going to have some sandwich options that have beef, but they're lean beef, like roast beef. And it's not perfect. I mean, we perfectly would give you all vegetarian dishes, but okay, so we have chicken, turkey, lean meats. Okay, and alcohol. They are linked to inflammation as a pattern in the diet, an overall pattern. My plate is a pattern that is different than this, right? It's aimed at trying to get these things lowered in the American diet. Who's heard of SAD? SAD.
Yes.
What's SAD stand for?
Seasonal affective disorder.
And what else? Good. The standard American diet is sad. It really is. Okay.
Is there a difference between saturated fat and high-fat dairy? I mean, saturated fat can be a meat or something,
Yeah.
but is it high-fat dairy bad because of the saturated fat, or is it something else?
That's a good question, and we could design maybe a research study to answer that, but it's hard to do. So what this is based on is a lot of studies that ask people what they eat, a very few studies that say eat more of this food in one group, and don't tell the other people to do that. But in general, it's called observational. We look at what people are eating. So, and we look at food groups. And so people who have higher fat dairy intakes, and these are population studies, because we gather a lot of nutrition data in populations in this country and other countries. So this is based on that kind of thing. It's food group analysis as opposed to more specific. Yeah. But saturated fat is indeed the type of fat that's in there, in dairy, high-fat dairy. Okay.
Years ago, we grew up on a lot of this stuff.
I know.
And like bologna sandwiches I had every day for lunch.
Me too.
I was trying to kill you.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then I gave up mayonnaise completely because I thought it was so bad to have so much fat. And now we say, have some mayonnaise. It's made with vegetable oil. So you're right. We live a certain way. We do our best. We learn. We try to do our best. So yeah, we used to eat. That's the SAD diet. Is that? Yep. Okay. If you would put the first slide up, please. This off. Hopefully we can see that. Now keep going. Going. We did that, all the way to week 5. There. That one right there. And can you make it a little bit, just focus it maybe better. Ah, thank you. Can everybody see that? I'm not standing in front of it. Okay. This is a little complicated, but I think it's good summary. Whoops, not focused. Maybe that's the best this little machine can do. Yeah, probably. Well, it was better before, right? Yeah. All right, I'll stop fussing. Okay, the orange means intake below what we recommend or above a limit that we recommend, okay? So it's too much or not enough. So this shows things, and this this shows things that we are not that happy with among Americans. The blue shows intake at or above recommendations, so you're getting enough or plenty. You can even stand closer if you'd like.
Okay.
No one will mind. Or below the limit. So you're really good at cutting back on something that we recommend that you cut back on. This is all across the United States. And then down here are different things in the diet. And then these are percentages. Ooh, we really can't see them. Can you make those a little bit better? Maybe if the top. We just need to see these numbers. That's a little better. Thank you. 100, 80%, 60%, okay? And then it goes up to 100 on that side. So what this shows is, now, isn't that horrible? That little beautiful slide thing will not do very well. All right, this says vegetables. I'd rather have those show up than this. This says vegetables. So if you follow this down, you're seeing that more than 80% of Americans do not get enough vegetables. Isn't that something? 80%. We really need to do better with our vegetables. And look at fruit. It's high, very close to 80%. This line is 80%, okay? Total grains, we get about 40% of us get enough total grains, but do not get enough whole grains. So we're not as concerned about total grains, we're more concerned about whole grains. Dairy. How many of us do not get enough dairy? 8 out of 10 of us. How
Would
many
you
cups
say
of
that the
dairy?
orange is either too much or not enough?
Orange is not good.
Well, not good, but you're
Uh-huh.
saying we don't get enough, maybe it can
Uh-huh.
also be too much?
Intake below the recommendations or above the limit.
Right. So how can we interpret it as we don't get enough? It could also mean above the limit. It's too much.
Because I know what it means. It's a graph that tries to combine a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's bad.
Yeah. We know that people don't get enough dairy. We know that people get too much added sugar. So that's why. It just takes the numbers for that and puts it in a more visual way. So you can see that protein foods, most people get enough protein foods, okay? But we're getting the wrong kind of protein foods. We're not getting enough fish. We're not getting enough legumes. And then oils, people are not getting, of all the fat we eat, enough oils. So that's why we're saying substitute other fat with oils. Added sugars, okay? We're getting close to 80% of us is getting too many. And the same with saturated fat and the same with sodium. Sodium is way too high compared to what's recommended. So that just summarizes it. Could you show the next slide, please? Okay, this is a label, and you can also refer to a label in your workbook. So, this shows the serving size, okay, for this. Let's say, I don't know what food this is anymore, but this says servings per container, there's about 12. So what if you ate 4 tablespoons of this? How many grams of fat would you be getting? This says 6 grams on the label. 12, because you'd be eating twice the serving size. Has everybody got that? I think most of us know that, but some people really have never been told that. Okay. This is not a very good way to show it, actually. And in 2017, this year in the summer, a new version of this is going to come out to make it more evident that this is really important and it affects all of this. Okay? And things that are going to be different. Can you show us the next slide? Just to let you know. This is the old one. Okay, servings are per container about 8. This says 8 servings per container. Right off the bat, the serving size is bigger. Here it's kind of hidden in here, okay? And the calories are really big, because that's of very much importance to Americans, because they're eating too many calories, we are. And we're going to, instead of saying sugars, we're going to say total sugars, which includes this many added sugars, because there's natural sugars in food that are not linked to the same problems that added sugars are linked to. Okay? We're changing this to this. And the changes include what's there, because vitamin A and vitamin C are not really of concern anymore compared to vitamin D, calcium. Potassium has a lot to do with blood pressure. We're giving the actual amount instead of just what percent of the daily value. Who can define daily value? Some of you know about that.
I think it's based on the number of calories.
It's based on
2,000 or something.
It's based on 2,000. So it says that right now down here. Percent daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. Many of us don't need 2,000 calories. But that's what the average is across all the ages and genders and everything. That's the average. So that's what this is based on. But daily value tells you how much of the recommendation are you getting when you get 1 serving of this. So here it says 12% of the daily value for total fat. You're getting 12% if you needed 2,000 calories of the total fat that would be recommended for you. And here you can see, is it that awful trans fat? Is that awful saturated fat, or is it something else? Okay? And now you can see if it's what type of sugar. So, what is a good source of something? Again, this is a lot of nutrition, I know, but this is what I know. What is a good source? How can you tell, oh, this is a really good source of calcium. Oh, this is a really good source of fiber, dietary fiber.
Percentage of your daily allotment.
Yeah. Do you know the cutoffs by any chance? So if a food has 5% to 19%, it's a good source of something. I'm sorry, it's an average source. If you have more than 20%, it's an especially good source. So, and that's all in your workbook too. But here you can see this is a good source of calcium, whatever food it is, because it's 20%. Any questions about this? All right, you got your labels down. Okay, you can take the slides off. Thank you so much. Turn the light back on. 5%, I said 5%, but what 20% or above is good, so 5% or below is low. So that could be for fat. This is low in fat, it's 5% of the daily value. Okay? All right. Have you ever seen something that has 2 servings in it that you could gobble down right away? What's a good example of that?
Ice cream.
Ice cream? Ice cream doesn't often have 2 servings in a package though.
I just ate a little snack that I was given the Weight Watchers.
Uh-huh.
Three of their smart points, it would be about 10% of daily value for protein. And 5 grams of protein because it was chickpeas. So the first ingredient was chickpeas, the second was salt, and the third was sugar. And as I was licking my fingers, at the end I was thinking, I could eat about 10 of these.
How many were in the package?
Oh, maybe a quarter cup. Quarter cup of.
No, I mean, how many servings were in
It was a single serving.
It was a single serving.
A quarter cup. They had the protein, but it was the salt and sugar that I recognized as, I
Yeah.
could overeat this food
Yeah.
very easily.
if there were like 12 servings in that
If it
bag.
were a bowl, I could have eaten it. I could have eaten it on the way here.
So you're pointing out the benefit of having a single serving package in a way.
In a
It's
way,
not
but
great
also
thing.
looking at the added sugar.
And
So-
looking at the added sugar. One question I'd like to pose too is though, do you ever come up to a package and you think, oh, that's a serving? And you look at the values on there, and then you look again and it says, that had 2 servings in it. Wait a minute, what kind of foods are they? Can't hear. Can't hear. Candy bars, what else?
Liquids, juices.
Soda, juices, crackers, a lot of things that are really high in fat, salt, added sugar, right? So the new law for the labels is going to require for things that have 2 servings in a package, it has to give the figures for the nutrients, how much fat, how much added sugar in the whole package. Yay! You know, it's like some kind of a, I find it manipulative. But those numbers are on there. A lot of people, how many people do you think read labels? Some people say, well, it doesn't matter, people don't read them.
I think more and more people read them as you go down the grocery aisle.
More and more people are reading them. 67% is the latest figure that I've heard. So it's a lot more than you might think. So they ought to be easy to read, right?
I should just tell you about serving size. I'm in charge of an ethnic dinner at our church festival. So I said, this is it, we're going to use the serving size for a piece of kielbasa, which is 2 ounces, which is about.
You'll get a lot of
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that.
A bunch of complaints that generated.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we think of as a serving really isn't what most people
Smaller
eat.
than you think.
Yeah, but at least you should be able, I think, to look at the package and know easily. So if it has 3 servings, it's going to have to give 2 columns, 1 serving and per package, so that people don't get confused. So small steps toward better labeling. I would like you to form